humans really care about what other humans think. That seems very deeply wired into us. So chess was one of the first victims of AI, right? Deep Blue could beat Kasparov, whenever that was, a long time ago. And all of the commentators said, this is the end of chess. Now that a computer can beat the human, no one's gonna bother to watch chess again, ever. It's over. Or play chess again. Chess has, I think, never been more popular than it is right now. And if you cheat with AI, that's a big deal. And no one, or almost no one, watches two AIs play each other. We're very interested in what humans do. When I read a book that I love, the first thing I do when I finish is I want to know everything about the author's life. And I want to feel some connection to that person that made this thing that resonated with me. Same thing for many other products, that humans know what other humans want very well. Humans are also very interested in other people. I think humans we're gonna have better tools. We've had better tools before, but we're still very focused on each other. And I admit, it does feel different this time. General purpose cognition feels so close to what we all treasure about humanity that it does feel different. So of course, there'll be kind of the human roles where you want another human, but even without that, I think, when I think about my job, I'm certainly not a great AI researcher. My role is to figure out what we're gonna do, think about that, and then work with other people to coordinate and make it happen. And I think everyone's job will look a little bit more like that. We will all operate at a little bit higher of a level of abstraction. We will all have access to a lot more capability, and we'll still make decisions. They may trend more towards curation over time, but we'll make decisions about what should happen in the world. The sort of OpenAI style of model is good at some things, but not good at sort of a life and death situation. But I think people understand tools and limitations of tools more than we often give them credit for. And people have found ways to make ChatGPT super useful to them and understand what not to use it for the most part. So I think it's a very good sign that even at these systems' current extremely limited capability levels, much worse than what we'll have this year, to say nothing of what we'll have next year, lots of people have found ways to get value out of them and also to understand their limitations. I think humans are pretty forgiving of other humans making mistakes, but not really at all forgiving of computers making mistakes. And so people who say things well, self-driving cars are already safer than human-driven cars, it probably has to be safer by a factor of, I would guess, between 10 and 100 before people will accept it, maybe even more. And I think the same thing is going to happen for other AI systems, caveated by the fact that if people are accustomed to using a tool and know it may be totally wrong, that's kind of okay. I think, in some sense, the hardest part is when it's right 99.999% of the time and you let your guard down. I actually can't look in your brain and look at the 100 trillion synapses and try to understand what's happening in each one and say, okay, I really understand why he's thinking what he's thinking. You're not a black box to me. But what I can ask you to do is explain to me your reasoning. I can say, you think this thing, why? And you can explain first this, then there's this conclusion, then that one, and then there's this. And I can decide if that sounds reasonable to me or not. And I think our AI systems will also be able to do the same thing. They'll be able to explain to us in natural language the steps from A to B, and we can decide whether we think those are good steps, even if we're not looking into it and saying, okay, I see each connection here, and I don't get to I think we'll be able to do more to x-ray the brain of an AI than x-ray the brain of you and understand what those connections are.